Hello and welcome to VOP Business Show. I'm Kayla Abraham. The implementation of 21.8 trillion naira of the 2023 budget is currently threatened as the nation has suffered a shortfall in crude oil output amounting to 470,000 barrels per day in August 2023. This represents a 29% fall from the budget benchmark of 1.669 barrels per day. At the current global market price of $92 per barrel, the 470,000 barrels per day shortfall amounts to a loss of $43.2 million daily, or 32 billion naira at the Central Bank of Nigeria's exchange rate. The budget was pegged on 1.7 million barrels per day and $75 per day, as the government expects to generate 2.3 trillion naira from the oil sector in 2023. But in its September monthly oil market report yesterday, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries OPEC disclosed that Nigeria produced 1.2 million barrels per day, excluding condensate, with output of 233,531 barrels per day, meaning that the nation did not meet its production quota of 1.8 million barrels per day during the period. Crude oil theft was largely fingered as the factor responsible for the nation's inability to meet neither the budget benchmark nor OPEC quota. This is even as the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission put the nation's condensate output at 233,531 barrels per day during the period, indicating that the nation did not meet its set target. Reacting to this development yesterday, the National President of Oil and Gas Service Providers Association of Nigeria, Mazi Coleman Obasi, claimed that the current high crude oil prices, currently standing at $92 per barrel, could have reduced the negative impact of low output on the nation. Vandalism, crude theft, divestment of multinationals from onshore to offshore, Russian-Ukraine war, volatility of oil prices, and maturity of some of the fields with declining yields have also compounded Nigeria's production challenges. Now, the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners yesterday called on the federal government to stop the 7.5% value-added tax on automotive gas oil, popularly known as diesel. NATO stated that the halt of VAT on diesel had become fundamental in order to avert disruptions in the distribution and supply of petrol. The association confirmed diesel is a product required for fueling about 90% of the haulage trucks that convey PMS from depots located mostly in the south to various filling stations across the country. Prior to the introduction of VAT on diesel, the cost of the commodity was barely above 600 naira per litre, but had increased to almost 1,000 naira per litre currently. This had also raised the cost of transporting PMS by transporters. Officials of the Nigeria Customs Service and Federal Inland Revenue Service noted that diesel was not exempted from the payment of VAT based on the VAT Modification Order 2021. Commenting on the development in a statement issued in Abuja yesterday, the national president of NATO, Yusuf Othman, claimed that the government has stopped raising the palm price of PMS despite the significant operating costs in the downstream portion of the oil industry. He claimed that because marketers were unable to raise the price of gasoline at the pump, they were also unable to raise the price of transporting PMS, which rendered the expense of doing business intolerable for carriers. Barely 1 week after leading a two-day nationwide warning strike, the organized labor yesterday threatened to begin an indefinite strike if the federal government fails to meet its demand at the end of a 21-day ultimatum, which will expire in approximately 1 week's time. The workers' union noted that the proposed strike was necessary following the failure of the federal government to provide palliative to assuage the hardships Nigerians were facing as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy. The Nigeria Labour Congress stated that the industrial action, which may commence any day from next week, will lead to an indefinite shutdown of commercial and economic activities across the country. The National Assistant General Secretary of the NLC, Christopher Onyeka, stated that the federal government was wrong to share a bag of rice to a dozen citizens while reportedly giving 100 million naira palliative to each member of the National Assembly. Now, the National Bureau of Statistics has stated that the revenue generation from postal services dipped by 17.1% from 3.6 billion naira in 2021 to 3.0 billion naira in 2022. This was contained in the Bureau's document on Postal Services 2022. The document noted that the total number of post offices and postal agencies decreased by 19.4% from 2,794 in 2021 to 2,251 in 2022. According to MBS, the total number of boxes installed in 2022 was 836,731, showing a decrease of 0.1% from 837,428 in 2021. The Bureau further stated that the total number of postal articles handled in 2022 increased by 102.1% from 17.7 million in 2021 to 35.7 million in 2022. Now, MBS noted that Lagos State had the highest number of boxes installed in 2022, while Jigawa recorded the least. And now the trade volume between Nigeria and the European Union has grown to about 45 billion euros over the years. The head of delegation of EU and ECOWAS Ambassador Samuel Isopi made this known in Abuja yesterday when she led a delegation to visit the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu. According to Isopi, trade has been growing over the years, and by the latest figure, it's about 45 billion euros with the balance in favor of Nigeria, and the balance is growing. Bagudu noted that the federal government appreciates the cordial relationship with EU, and it will be demonstrated by providing opportunities for more partners, private sector relationships, which is already on ground, social and cultural relationships will also be boosted. He also stated that the federal government acknowledges the support of the EU in areas of governance and improvement of the rule of law. Now, Nigeria and the Republic of Benin are looking to ease business ties. This follows the holding of a two-day meeting in Abuja, the Nigerian capital, between the Nigerian customs officials and their counterparts from the Republic of Benin, who appealed to Nigeria to reverse its policy on border closure. The reopening of the border is the prerogative of the president, and once it's done, the two countries can activate the plans they had from the two-day engagement. Among other things, their plans include the mutual utilization of the country's ports. Nigeria's ambassador to Benin Republic, Olukayode Gbenga, noted that the closure of the border was like a war declared on the two countries owing its impact. He noted that for the reopening to be mentioned in the communique means a step forward in the bilateral relationship. He recalled that when the president visited him in Benin Republic 2 months ago, he indicated there will be improvement on relationship with the Benin Republic. He described the engagement between the two customs organizations as a horizontal approach instead of waiting for the vertical approach in which presidents of countries deal with themselves. According to him, Nigeria's importers are now using the Republic of Benin's port, and they too could utilize Nigeria's port if they chose. He added that Nigerians can clear their goods from the Republic of Benin ports. In his remarks at the end of the engagement, he noted that on the promotion of ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme, the relevant department within the NCS has been entrusted with the task of reviewing the current impediment to the ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme to chart practical ways forward. He also revealed that in collaboration with the Inspector General of Nigeria Police, the service has undertaken substantial measures to reduce barriers along the country's trade corridors. He said initiatives have been launched to harmonize the list of products prohibited in Nigeria. Now, in the same vein, a Nigeria Customs Service and Benin Republic Customs counterpart have forged a path towards more efficient and effective customs practices, strengthen collaboration, eliminate barriers, and promote legitimate trade between both Nigeria and Benin Republic. The new pact, which is aimed at enhancing customs administration, trade facilitation, and regional cooperation, will also allow Nigerian importers who desire to import their goods through Cotonou port in Benin Republic will be free to do so legally. Under the new arrangement, Nigerian importers willing to use Cotonou port in Benin can now have their vehicles and other items cleared there for them to be free to enter Nigeria. The Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, stated that the partnership creates an office for Nigerian importers in Benin to clear the goods and pay the relevant duties without hitches, and the duties credited to the Nigerian government through the NCS. The NCS affirmed that they are working on integrating its information technology systems with the Federal Road Safety Corps to curb illegal entry of vehicles. The integration is expected to enhance customs' ability to monitor and regulate cross-border vehicle movement more effectively. Now, the exchange rate between the Naira and the US dollar, according to the data released on the FMDQ Security Exchange, the official forex trading portal, showed that the Naira opened at 761.24 Naira per dollar yesterday and closed at 742.10 Naira per dollar that same day. That's all on VOP Business Show and VOP TV. We would like you to subscribe and engage us on YouTube. It is Voice of the People TV, and on other social media platforms at VOP TV Live. I am Kayla Abraham. Thanks for watching.